Namaste and welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Serenity. We're going to continue answering or attempting to answer a question from the chair. And there's lots of questions in here now. I had some more people ask me questions and they scribbled them down and threw them in. So, yeah. I'm going to take a deep breath to begin with as I get my timer ready. And then I will begin. And the question I was asked was, what do you think happens when we pray? What do you think happens when we pray? And that's a really good question. Prayer has tremendous effects, and it's been proven scientifically through researches, qualitative researches, where people have been, cohorts of people have been studied praying and for specific individuals, and what happens with these individuals who were prayed for compared to individuals who were not prayed for. They seem to see more of a positive intention leading to a positive outcome with those that have been prayed for. Prayer is something many of us have been brought up with if we have any religious, affiliation. That was part of our life and our history. Like I did, for example, grew up as a Roman Catholic, and prayer was a significant part of my belief system, part of my family system and my social system. We prayed a lot. We learned specific prayers that were recited by memory, probably losing their significance because we weren't really thinking at the end of it about what we were praying for. We're just saying the words, and even that had a soothing effect to the mind, calming the mind and soothing it because of the repetitive nature. It's almost like a mantra in that way, even though maybe we weren't focusing on what the words were saying and what the words meant as children and as young adults with that type of prayer habit or tendency in our lives. But so prayer then can have a very soothing effect, like a mantra, to soothe the mind, to take the mind, to numb the mind, to take it away from thinking, because you're focusing on words and whatever. And because of the rhythm of the prayer, you may actually have a soothing effect to the body and the mind. But prayer also has, because of the intention behind the prayer, has a positive effect on consequences in the world, on outcomes in the world. So it has been proven that people who are prayed for seem to do better than people who are not prayed for, as I said. So the intention behind the prayer, I think, is what creates that outcome and that belief that the individual has that their prayer will have a significant effect on the well-being of another, or on the well-being of themselves, also has that indication. We can pray in petition, meaning we can pray for things that we want. We can pray in reverence and in gratitude. So we may pray as a form of worship to whatever it is we're praying to, be it a monistic god or a entity of some other kind, depending on what your belief system is. And we pray to that in reverence and worship. Or we can pray in gratitude, thanking some source out there for what we have in our lives or what we're experiencing in our lives. And I think the prayer of gratitude is probably the most helpful to us as individuals, in the sense that it's very healing to be grateful, and it's very healing to pray in gratitude, because it helps us to recognize what we're grateful for and the abundance in our lives when we can get in the habit of being thankful to this source of everything for what we have. So prayer can be petition, asking for things. Prayer can be in gratitude, and prayer can be in reverence. And I think the prayer in gratitude is the most helpful to our individual well-beings. To the world, the prayer of petition, if we're actually praying for other human beings or other beings in general, or for the survival of the planet, or whatever, that has a significant effect, because it also allows us to become more compassionate, right? When we're praying for others, we are working our compassion muscles. We really are. We're helping to build that compassion and that sense of otherness and interbeingness in ourselves. So regardless of your religious background, if you're praying for other beings, then definitely it has a positive effect, not just on the other beings, but on you for being the prayer of that. Holding a compassion and holding that sense of otherness and that sense of interbeingness and that sense of caring and meta-kindness and love, that is very, very helpful to us. It's going to help our soul progression, if you want to use the word soul, or our higher self progression. It's going to help to end suffering in us. The more we can think of, other suffering, the more depersonalized our own suffering becomes. And we have less of a focus on our own little meanness and our own little me problems when we can focus on others in prayer. Prayer can also help us to expand, expand our mindset beyond what we consider me to the entire world. We start to recognize when we pray that we're just one. It's just one little tiny prayer out of 8.3 billion other prayers out there, so it makes my problems so much less significant. It makes my meanness so less significant. There's something greater I'm praying to, so again, what I consider problematic is less significant when I pray for others in this world. So prayer can do that as well. It can help us to expand our consciousness and take it off the little me focus and put it out there onto the world. Now, prayer in the ritualistic format, rituals are also very good. They're a momentum in a sense. There's something the mind, they're creating neural pathway in the brain because of their ritualistic nature and their habitual nature to do the same thing over and over and again, like which we learn to do in the Catholic Church, like during Mass. There's all these little components of Mass where you stand, you sit, you kneel, you say this prayer, you say these words, you do this, you bow your head here, you lift your head here, and it's very ritualistic, but those little habitual rituals that come with prayer can be very soothing to the mind. Again, taking us out of our constant meminess and our problems and our problematic meanness and our personal minds into something that's higher consciousness level, to whatever it is we're praying for. Yeah, so prayer can have many physiological benefits as well as emotional and psychological or spiritual benefits. It soothes the body. It soothes the body's calming down in prayer. Nervous system we're sliding into because we're less focused on the mind, the mental activity, nonstop thinking and the monkey mind, and we're coming back down into breath and listening to the words and repeating the words and concentrating on repeating the words. And if we have rituals associated with them, then we are soothing the nervous system, so the sympathetic system stays out of the way and the parasympathetic system is reactivated. So it has a physiological benefit as well as emotional, psychological, and mental benefit, and spiritual, of course, to our well-being. So does it matter what we pray for or how we pray? Standing, sitting, lying down? I don't think it matters. I think it's where you focus your attention. Where attention goes, energy flows. So whatever you're focusing your attention on, we're redirecting that energy. Even if it's a neural pathway in the brain, we're redirecting. If we're staying out of our problematic and giving the problem to God, for example, in our prayer, then the energy flows to a higher level instead of staying stuck in that fogginess of problem thinking. We give the problem to God and our energy flows upward, wherever upward is, rather than staying stuck within the body or the mind. So prayer can be very beneficial in that way too. So there's so many benefits to prayer. It doesn't matter how we pray. It doesn't matter if we call it prayer. Because to me, prayer is in a sense meditation as well. It's the same thing. I'm sitting there. If I do a tongue meditation, that is in the sense of prayer. I'm thinking of other individuals. I'm trying to, help other individuals by taking on their suffering. I'm helping myself by becoming more compassionate, more whole, and more accepting of the what-isness of everything. So regardless, I would call that prayer. Other people might not call that prayer. So it doesn't matter what you call it. It's just this focusing on this higher power, whatever that higher power is to us, as we set an intention for ourselves or for other beings or for the world at large. That is the benefit of prayer. So, and it's all prayer, right? Even though we may not call it prayer in some cases, it is still prayer. If our intention is set on something and we're focusing on a higher power and we're giving it up. It's the letting go of prayer that's very beneficial too, because in prayer you usually let go of it. It's not yours anymore. You're handing it over to this higher power. You're handing it over to this entity that you're praying to. You're handing it over, so you're not holding on to it and clinging to it anymore. And prayer in that way is very beneficial. So that, as you can see, I'm rambling, I know, but there are so many different benefits of prayer. It's a great question. I know I haven't done it justice, but thank you for asking it. Namaste.